Welcome back. Hopefully I'm live right now, because it usually takes a while for things to happen on this. But I've got an interesting show for you guys tonight that I think is going to be really interesting. Like, we're going to cover a lot of stuff. So I hope you guys are prepared. Here's my monkey. This is me and my monkey. Have you ever seen those videos? The dude like drops his like plastic monkey from the 100th floor of some building, and the thing doesn't just like evaporate, disintegrate. Okay, I'm gonna have to put on my sunglasses, you guys, because I get a little bit of a headache. So, and today is one of those days where I'm fighting it off. So I'm gonna do that, but I just wanted to be like, hey, what's up? Hi. So let me get rid of this monkey, because the monkey's not supposed to be there. No monkey. I could not get my friggin' chat to work right. Thank you for sharing my channel. I appreciate that, Master Rank. Unfortunately, I cannot pull up your chats. I'm having technical issues there. So forgive me, please. Like I said, this is going to be a very interesting show. But before we get too wildly into it, I did want to say that I'm going to do this new goal setting thing. All right. And that's something that I'm going to talk about as soon as I tell you guys what our goal is going to be. All right. So I'm going to set the goal at, I'm going to start with, let's see, no, 10 super chats. Okay. And I'm going to give it 2 hours. We'll give it 2 hours. But it's going to be for something good, not information, because that would be stupid. But it's going to be for a giveaway. Huh? I know everybody likes giveaways. And some pretty like cool stuff. So I have like a handful of stuff that I'm going to be giving away over probably like the next month. So we're going to use it for that. And Kevin Clausen, thank you for the super chat. Says, tell me, here is a super chat. Thank you for the super chat. So yeah, I'm going to be giving away. So tonight, if we reach our goal, I'm going to give away 2 things at the beginning of next week's episode. And those 2 things are going to be 1 Ambernick handheld and 1 brand new Evercade Tomb Raider collection, or Tomb Raider, whatever it is. I don't know. I think it's the first, second, third trilogy, maybe. But those will be the 2 things that I'm going to give away if we meet our goal. And I figured that that's pretty good, right? You know, you get a chance to win something. So there can be 2 winners technically if we meet that goal. So yeah, that's it. But what I was gonna say about it is I had seen a live stream, I think it was earlier this week, where somebody, a gamer in a gaming channel, was basically on their live stream, and they were like, all right, if we meet this goal, I'm gonna tell you guys like what I'm buying. What? Like, really? Because like everybody's gonna find out anyways, you know, eventually. So like, who cares? It would have been better, you know, to say like, and this is a guy, but I'm going to show you my boobs if we meet the goal. I mean, that's, you know, that's a little bit more entertaining, at least, I think. I mean, that's just my opinion, but hey, you know, opinions are like loopholes. Everybody's got one, right? At least I would hope so. I would hope so, because that would be very strange if someone didn't. I would be concerned. I'd be concerned about their health, their well-being. I would be concerned about my well-being if I was there near a person who didn't have one. Okay? Kevin Clausen. Wait a minute. Oh, Kevin Clausen sent a membership. Thank you, Kevin Clausen, for the membership. Apparently, Retro Lizard is a member now. Thank you for dubbing Joel a member. So yeah, I mean, I just thought it was really funny because I'm like, there's like, what's the point? Like, what's help you reach your goal for what, dude? Like, who gives a shit? You know, who cares about what you're getting next? I mean, sure, that's entertaining for your viewers or whatever, but why? That's what you're doing to meet your goal. Like, come on, strip or something. Do something, you know, with entertainment value. But anyways, yeah. I thought he was already subscribed. Well, he is subscribed, at least I think he is, but now he has a membership. He's officially a member. And Messiah says, it's me, it's lying gaslighting me. That's funny. Toxin, member for 20 months. Yo, what is up, my man Toxin? What's up, dude? Thanks for your ongoing support to the channel, to me. It's much appreciated. And I'm being serious too, because Toxin's a good dude. He's a good dude. All right. So that's just my 2 cents. Look, I'm just saying, if you're going to do the meet the goal thing, I mean, like, at least add some entertainment value to it, like something that's like, you know, kind of gives back a little bit. Like, yeah. I mean, because we all know, like, in this highly male saturated gaming communities, and look, this isn't a knock on anybody in the chat. If it, I mean, just look, if the shoe fits, wear it, okay? But we all know that they're, you know, some of these guys, they've kind of got these secret crushes on their content creators, which is fine. Hey, it's okay. I'm not here to judge. But I'm just saying, you know, maybe these male content creators could shake their booty a little bit, and then at least it would be rewarding some of their audience, right? Oh, man. All right, come on. Tell us what you ate for lunch on August 12th. August 12th. What did I eat for lunch? Honestly, I cannot remember. But I'm going to say it was leftover pizza. Hey. Let me see. Thank you for the super chat. Super chat from Messiah. I sent you $2. Now give me your address. Toxin says, funny how you do a clot Big Blue video and then what's up today posts one too. Wait, who? Who posts the clot video? Oh, OneUp. They repost. I saw. You know what? I just saw that before I got on. Arcade OneUp reposted my clot reel that I had on Instagram, and it goes to Facebook. I don't have a Facebook, or at least I don't think I do, and so I can't see anything that happens on Facebook. But I saw that, and I was like, "What?" They like just reposted it an hour ago or something. And I thought that was interesting. So thank you. We have one super chat towards the goal here, guys. Remember, you guys are the ones who win with the goal. We meet the goal. You win free stuff. All right. Am I selling it here? Huh? You want to win some free stuff? Get in here and super chat. All right. Give me your money. I'll give you some free stuff that's equivalent value or more. Right? Yeah. Especially with them tariffs. You're not going to want to jack with them tariffs. All right. That raised the price of my freaking arcade OneUp replacement monitor by like $60. Huh? Screw that. Okay. So yeah, appreciate it. But yeah, they did. They reposted it. All right. So moving on. Gosh, you know, arcade OneUp, the home arcade. That takes me back. That takes me back to some really fun times, and some really not so fun times. I mean, that has got to be one of the most insane gaming communities on YouTube, or just online space in general. So, gosh, it's concerning, you know, to see like some of the behaviors that go on there. But again, you know, I think you could tie that into some of the psychological aspects of maybe some of the guys in the audience there, whatever. I don't know. I'll just be vague with that part. But I think that like a lot of the people in there kind of reminds me of Amico. Have a very difficult time accepting truths and like, you know, about the situations that they're in or that they create. So it's had to take out the trash, Bo. Kevin, did I say thank you for that? Thank you for the memberships. Thank you for the super chat and stuff. But Bo had to take out the trash. Like, is that a metaphor? Like a Van Damme metaphor? Like, you know, or Stallone? Like, did you actually like have to beat someone's ass? Because that would be. Okay, so guys, the super chats count. I think towards the goal if they're $4.99 or above. Okay, I thought that was like an automatic thing. Anyway, all right. So that's what it is. Thank you for the support, Sailor Mercury. Cool arcade girl. Thank you. No, just a chore. Well, it's the same thing. You kick that chore's ass. Oh God. Okay. I'm almost done making dad jokes. I swear. So yeah, the home arcade community is just a very it's a very strange place where like a lot of like suspect behaviors go on, and I you know, I think a lot of my subscribers, my base subscribers from like when I very first started, are home arcaders or people who started out there. And dude, how the kingdom has fallen from, you know, its grace of like COVID times. We need more arcade chicks in the community. Let's get more diverse. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Mr. Messiah says, yeah, the teal one's $4.99. Can't torture you for 2 years and you wait. Can I torture you for 2 years and you forgive me for all my sins for $5? Because that seems to be the trend. It kind of is. It's like, it's very, very strange. Mike of all trades, what's up? It's very strange the way that like the enabling cycle of behavior, like the pattern of kind of sickness, circle of life works there. And one way to be immortal apparently is to be like the biggest liar or most abusive person to be immortalized by the home arcade community. Tossing my coin into the pot. Thanks, dude. Appreciate you. Paul, what's up, Paul? I got 2 moderators. No, 3 moderators here. Thank you. Thank you. So anyways, yeah, the sickness ensued, I think, like 2023, you know. And I'm just going to like say it right now. I'm going to disclaim this because we're going to be talking about a lot more of this craziness throughout the stream. But I mean, for those of you who don't know, or if it's your first time here, I am, you know, a trans woman. I live my life as a woman. I transitioned hormonally. And I am who I am. All right. I'm not going to tell you some long, elaborate story. But people love to assume, and I think it's especially online, but just in general, that I am some sort of like left-wing psycho, you know, left-wing propagandist. And I'm like, I really am not. Like, you know, I spent a lot of time in the military overseas, and that's not to get like a pat me on the butt or anything. It's just like I have seen a lot, and I have a lot to judge things by and to make my decisions about how I view things. Let me get this super chat real quick. $20 from Ezekiel, the Chicago Retro Ranger. Thank you so much, dude. So good to see you. Jade, thank you. Your background looks incredible. Thanks. Thank you. I know. You know, I gotta do. I'm saying I know I gotta do a tour of like this whole layout. Like an end of summer tour or something. It's been like a long time since I've done just like a look at the room. But I've just been so apprehensive about it. I'm like, eh. But I should, because I'm getting some cool stuff up here. Actually, matter of fact, side note, I just reached out to Joe Zabo, who's sending me a topper, and he's also sending me something really cool for my wall. And I also need it from 3 other people. Maybe I'll talk about that later. But I'm excited about it because it's kind of going to tie everything together and finish it up. All right. When did this happen? I came doo-be-doo. All right. So I'm going to try not to get too distracted right now by the chat, but I will look. I will follow to the best of my abilities, guys. I am doing good. Money Ria. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. And I hope you are the same. I hope y'all are. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Okay. I don't have a transgender agenda, and I really don't give a shit how people want to live their lives, as long as it doesn't harm others and it's not, you know, as long as it's not something that is forcing somebody else to live their life in a way that they don't want to, or hurting people, basically, is kind of my philosophy. I'm sure there's like caveats here and there, but let me just like make it basic. All right. And to be educated, I think, is also like highly important for us to successfully evolve. So there's that. Okay. Now, everybody's automatic assumption is I'm a Democrat. No, honestly, I probably have more conservative leaning views on certain things, but I'm also, I wouldn't say conservative, but I would say, oh God, what's the other one? Mensa, help me out here. But anyways, I have more conservative leaning views on certain things. Well, on other things, my views are very liberal, but a higher percentage are more conservative views. I did not vote, okay, for either of the candidates, for any of the candidates that ran in this year's presidential election. And why is that important to know? Because if somebody tries to pull the, oh, you Democrat commie, like, no, I'm not. Yeah, that just didn't happen. Okay. For one thing, I don't trust politicians. All right, and there's a very good reason for that. But for another, I've lost a lot of friends overseas, and there's just you get a bigger look at the big picture, and then you see how people are reacting to these billionaires, these politicians, and it's like, why are you guys loyal to them? Why do you have an allegiance to these rich people who don't give a shit about you? Sorry, but they don't. Not sorry. And continue to like allow bad things to happen because, well, hey, it's justified because I'm loyal to this person. All right. So that's basically the long and short of it. Okay. So for anybody coming in here who thinks that they're going to say I'm a commie or a Democrat, you can go F yourself in the A. Because you're probably a retard. There is definitely a cult. But the way I see it is, and I'm going to give you the short because I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, is that both sides work together to push people in a certain direction. And now that we have social media and all these other things, people can get obsessive. It literally rewires your brain. People spend hours and hours, like, looking at their phone and digging into the news and stuff like that. And so, no, I wish I was, Paul. I wish I was. But they spend all this time, and your attention and your focus goes down into like this little digital space. I mean, like, what do you think that does to your neurologically? What do you think that does to you? Well, it over time definitely has an effect and trains your brain to behave a certain way when you see something like your phone, for example. So it's a very fine line, digital device addiction, right? And us gamers, we know all about that. So yeah, that's just a little bit of background and a little bit of clarity on kind of like what some of my views are personally and how I see things. I get tired of seeing people use the trope of, woke versus anti-woke and all this stuff, because it's been so insanely turned inside out and used in the completely wrong way. And that goes for both woke and anti-woke. But the thing is, now, with the way that things are currently in America, how is there even an anti-woke ideology? Like, what? There's nothing really left to be anti-woke about, And it's like whatever they can like tug at, like Superman was woke. No, it wasn't. Do you know what woke means? Like, the actual definition of woke started probably in the early 20th century. And it was born out of Black oppression in America. So Black Americans being oppressed. All right. This is just like history. This is just the reality of the situation. I'm not trying to preach at you guys. This is just the reality of the situation. It was born out of Black oppression. Stay woke. Once you're woke, you stay woke. And that means that you're aware of racial inequality and, oppressive systems. And that's really all it was. But it somehow turned into, it was kind of like hijacked by all these political agendas and like white political agendas. And just like BLM was hijacked in the same way, which technically goes under the woke ideology. All right. And now what you have is these anti-wokies. And it's like, you realize that what you're saying by saying you're anti-woke is you are essentially saying like you're for racism, you're for oppression. Like that is by definition what it means. I mean, chat, tell me if I'm wrong here. Tell me if I'm wrong. Let me take a look here in the chatters. Brain rot. Yeah, Bo. Total brain rot. Total brain rot is what happens. And then it phases you. It like phases people so they're not like cognitively the same. Or if you are black, you are automatically a Democrat. Yeah, that's another one. Overused. People look. Yeah, they move the goalpost to continue grifting and calling anything woke. Yeah, that's. The grift is real. The grift is real. Crazy thing is, Democrats were Republicans and Republicans were Democrat at one point in time. This is not. That's not inaccurate. Democrats used to be more conservative. So, yeah. Anyway, so that's one of the things about like the anti-woke culture that just annoys me, is how stupidly uneducated, yes, I'm using the word stupidly uneducated these folks are, and how people just buy it. Like, and all that tells me is that most of the people that are like those audiences, they're fueled by some sort of hate, or they just want to watch things burn, right? So, radical Republicans turned on blacks because blacks didn't give them enough votes. With all the things going on in the world, the top priority of mine is to ask the Smithsonian to not focus on slavery. Yeah, that's another one. Like, history is bad. It's bad things happen in history. The whole point is to remember the bad things that happen in history so we don't do the bad things again. So there's nothing bad about honoring history as it was. That's a whole nother story. But holy shit, like just deleting history, like, or trying to, you gotta be out of your mind. So gaming is out and political opt talks is in. Get it? Yeah, no, not entirely actually. This is just part of the stream. But this is definitely something that is going to become, I have to give you guys a background because I'm going to be talking about content creators who cover this kind of shit in gaming, okay? For example, saying that, and I'm just making this up as an example, but that game X is woke because it has black character Y in it who's modeled after a black person. Okay? Who's the main character. Like, oh, Jesus, that's woke. Can you believe this? And then they want to make them gay. All right, now you know what game I'm talking about. But the miseducation of the actual character is what's hilarious to me. It's like, you guys don't know like what this character is based on, like realistic things. Like, hey, hate to break it to you guys, but samurais were kind of gay. They a little bit gay over there, getting gay, huh? A little bit of sake, a little bit of wee wee. A little bit of Peter in your burger. And by burger, I mean buns. And by buns, I mean, well, I think we know where this is going. Yeah? Yeah? So, Giovanni, what's up? So, yeah, I mean, it's things like that that are just like, bro, go educate yourself and then come back and talk about this in context. And then that's when you start to realize that these guys are engineering a, anti-woke narrative to literally just to feed their algorithm, to feed their channel. I don't know what's worse, like anti-wokeism or the grift to anti-wokeism. Like, I don't know which. I guess they're both just equally as bad. The problem is that now they're saying everything is woke. Yep. Well, damn, that game can we actually play? And the thing is, like, with the whole everything is woke now, it's like all of you whiny bitches who complained about cancel culture are now saying that everything is woke during a time when literally nothing is allowed to be woke, or it's just looked down upon so terribly. Like, can you believe this? Ruffle my feathers. You know what? Let's go back to the days of guys beating the crap out of their wives because they have to have sex with men behind, closed doors and never tell anyone about it. Like, who cares? Okay. Look. Again, these are my opinions based on facts of what I know. So that's just the way it is for me. That's kind of like the way that I see things, and that's a big problem that I see in gaming is the attitude of wokeness. Now, of anti-wokeness, and now you could take that, and you could spin it in a lot of different ways, but I think like it's not just like the act of saying a game is woke or whatever. It's the notion that like everything has to be approached from a cynical point of view when it's gaming. Like, it's gaming, dude. And that's how you get spun off into these like totally like everything getting politicized. Like, everything is politicized now. Yeah, everything is politicized. And that is part of the problem. It's fucking gaming, bro. It's not supposed to be politicized. Okay? And if somebody is really doing something that heinous in gaming, like making a game, then don't buy it. Don't play it. Who cares? Gay video game characters, Chinese, black, Indian video game characters, they've been around for, well, I hate to break it to you, but I mean shucks, at least a couple years, 30, I don't know. So Miss Pac-Man, by today's standards, is super woke. Miss Pac-Man's super woke. You know why? Because Miss Pac-Man is a derivative of Pac-Man. And basically what they did was they transitioned Pac-Man to make Miss Pac-Man because it was originally a hack. Yeah, so, I mean, I'm just saying, Miss Pac-Man is kind of like Miss Tranny Pac-Man, if you know what I mean. But hey, I feel like people would be furious if Miss Pac-Man was released in today's climate. So yeah. Okay. All right. With that being said, that's kind of like an important baseline just as far as educational points go, because we've got a couple different things that we're going to cover. One of them is the Visa and MasterCard censorship and how deeply rooted it is and how it is going to have a negative effect if it's not corrected, or if it, you know, maybe even if it is attempted to be corrected. But I think that this is something very important that a lot of people are overlooking or don't know about the whole debacle. And if you didn't know, Steam and several other platforms had to pull a lot of NSFW content, and content that is referred to as oh my god, that is referred to as like LGBTQ whatever, ABCDEFG, propaganda and stuff like that, in inappropriate ways, I guess. Dude, it's like the first thing that slaps you in the face is like, so you're not going to process payments for games that contain sex in them or are sex-based games? Like, why though? And so then, but the platform pulling them is what's even more telling, and that's the problem, because now they're actively trying to censor these platforms and make it more difficult to get these kind of games or games that contain this. And if it starts there, where do you think it's going to go? It's going to trickle. It's going to trickle. And before you know it, all the people who are rooting for that are going to be complaining when games all of a sudden become this watered down tic-tac-toe bullshit with glossy graphics. So that's where we're going. All right. Let me pull this up for you guys so that we can get a little bit of reading in here. And this will be super fun, guys. We are at 4 out of 10 for our goal. Remember, for that goal, guys, I'm giving away 2 things if we meet the goal. 2 things. An Ambernick handheld, and these are 2 separate things, so 2 people will potentially win here. An Ambernick handheld and Evercade Lara Croft collection or trilogy, whatever it is. Sealed. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over here. Yeah. All right, so this is a conversation I had with Grok. Okay, Grok. I said, please explain. Wait, is this the first one? Maybe. I hope it is. Well, Grok, please explain Project 2025's mandate for leadership, why and how it explicitly calls for outlawing pornography and what it defines as such, and how this currently relates to the Visa and MasterCard debacle with relation to video games. And Grok says, Project 2025's mandate for leadership is a 900-page conservative policy blueprint by the Heritage Foundation for a potential Republican administration. It calls for outlawing pornography to combat child sexualization and exploitation, stating on page 5, pornography should be outlawed, producers imprisoned, educators classed as sex offenders, facilitators shuttered. It defines porn broadly, including transgender ideology and child sexualization, which transgender ideology, well, I guess we'll get to that in a second. The Visa MasterCard debacle involves payment processors pressuring platforms like Steam to delist adult games, citing brand damage from explicit content. Echoing Project 2025's anti-porn stance amid conservative lobbying. Okay. So then I say, let's see if I got this right here. Yeah, so then I say Russ Vought, a co-writer for Project 2025, director of the United States Office of Management and Budget, and acting director of CFPB, how does this affect Visa and MasterCard, and what logical connections can be made here? Okay, Russ Vought authored Project 2025's Executive Office chapter. Okay, so this guy, Russ Vought, is the author of Project 2025's Executive Office chapter. I know you guys are wondering, what is this connection to gaming? Keep following me here. Served as OMB director 2019 to 2021, but was not acting CFPB director. That was Mick Mulvaney. OMB oversees federal budgets, including CFPB's, which regulates consumer finance like credit cards. Logical ties. Project 2025 pushes anti-porn policies. Vought's influence could pressure CFPB to enforce rules restricting processors from funding obscene content, mirroring recent Visa MasterCard delistings of adult games on Steam and the other platforms amid conservative lobbying. This enables indirect censorship via financial levers. Oh, interesting. Okay. So the author, or excuse me, the co-author of Project 2025, all right, who is now in a position which allows him to regulate consumer finance stuff like credit cards, and Visa is a massive payment method that everybody uses. I mean, it's like the gateway payment method. All right, I said, how could this potentially affect online markets and people's privacy, and why does it matter? Grok says this could disrupt online markets by enabling financial censorship. Payment processors, pressured by regulations, might block transactions for pornographic content, broadly defined to include adult games or LGBTQ themes, forcing platforms to delist items, hurting creators and innovation. Privacy risks include transaction surveillance to enforce bans, exposing personal habits, and enabling data misuse or targeting. That's really kind of like a key piece right there. It matters as it erodes free expression, economic freedom, and digital privacy, potentially discriminating against marginalized groups. Now, is this already a problem? Yeah, it is. But stay with me here. What is their definition of LGBTQ and adult themes? Project 2025 doesn't explicitly define LGBTQ+, but equates transgender ideology with pornography, stating, page 5, pornography manifests today in the omnipresent propagation of transgender ideology and sexualization of children. What? Like, that's disgusting. That they're saying they're lumping that ideology of and I don't even know how you can define that because it's such a politicized term. But they're saying like a transgender ideology. So basically anybody who's transgender, and then connecting that with the sexualization of minors, which is disgusting. Adult themes likely encompass explicit sexual content, child exploitation, and anything deemed obscene, targeting broad censorship of such materials. And I said, so then, the purpose is censorship under the guise of protecting minors? And Grok says yes. Project 2025 frames its anti-pornography stance as vital for shielding children from sexualization and exploitation. However, its broad definition equating transgender ideology with porn suggests a pretext for censoring LGBTQ content, adult media, and free expression, as critics argue it prioritizes ideological control over genuine protection. And I said, isn't transgender ideology a highly politicized term? How is biological adult men who choose to hormonally transition to living as women, or vice versa, an ideology? And Grok says, yes, Transgender ideology is a politicized term often used by conservatives to frame gender identity as a harmful belief system or agenda, rather than recognizing transgender experiences as valid personal identities or medical realities. Transitioning, e.g. via hormones, is an individual process, not inherently ideological. It's rooted in gender dysphoria and supported by major medical bodies like the AMA. Project 2025 weaponizes the term to justify censorship. And then I said, haven't quite a few people in the current American administration been accused of sexual misconduct or convicted of crimes? And if Russ Vought is potentially behind the Visa MasterCard censorship, is it possible that Palantir is also involved in their data harvesting? And then it says, yes, the Trump admin has faced accusations. Trump liable for sexual abuse, Carroll case, and tied to Epstein files, 2025 DOJ note, but leaked far before that. Gates probed for minor sex trafficking. Vought, OMB, head and Project 2025 co-author, oversees CFPB enabling pressure on Visa MasterCard for anti-porn censorship. Palantir aids broad government data collection. See where we're going here? How many connections is this? Integrating commercial sets plausible for financing financial harvesting, though not directly confirmed with Visa and MasterCard. Look, Palantir is all up in the biz. They all up in the data. All right. There's a beast in Palantir. And there's also been other accusations, of course, related to sexual misconduct with important people from that company. So how could any of this potentially benefit those people? What is the broader scope? This could benefit figures like Trump and allies by consolidating executive power to suppress scrutiny via DOJ control, shielding personal scandals through narrative dominance, and enriching connected firms like Palantir via surveillance contract. Broader scope, Project 2025 Broader scope, Project 2025 aims to dismantle checks and balances, cut social programs, enforce conservatives' ideologies nationwide, potentially eroding democracy and for authoritarian control. So then I said, it seems as though the American public was primed for this by the Democratic Party, in quotes, as if they and the Republicans know exactly what needs to be done in order to concoct a seemingly modern pathway into Orwellian dystopia. What do you surmise, Grok? And Grok says, indeed, bipartisan efforts such as the Patriot Act and FISA expansions have normalized mass surveillance, eroding privacy, and priming the public for control. While Project 2025 is Republican-fed, Democratic policies on tech censorship and data sharing contribute, fostering a modern Orwellian framework where both sides enable authoritarian drift. Interesting take, Grok. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about this? Huh? How many connections were there? I mean, you've got Palantir. Are you going to make me watch Paul? I wish I could pull that comment up. Paul says, are you going to make me watch Prawn? No. I don't need to force anybody to do that. But Palantir is I swear I'm okay. They're a big one. They're a big player in this. And, we were talking earlier about people being like hyper focused on their electronic devices, right? And one of the really big things that we overlook, don't think about all the time, myself included, is the EULAs that you get every time the privacy notifications change. We're playing a dangerous game with that because every time that we just update our privacy stuff without thinking about it, there's something different in there. There's something new in there. There's a new clause added. And it's getting to the point where it's going to be dangerous because they're collecting data about you, and it's not just your algorithmic data. They can be saying things like, we reserve the right to use your personality on our, artificial platform to do X, Y, and Z. And then they technically kind of own your likeness in a way. So it's a dangerous, dangerous road that we're traveling down, Toxin. And I think that people need to be educated. I think that people need to be very educated. And that was just like a brief overview of essentially what I think is going on. And from what I've looked at, okay, because I have fact checked all that. And from what I've looked at and already educated myself on, tells us that it's highly concerning. Like it's like a big red flag that's waving around. And the weird thing is that a lot of people are supportive of this stuff without even thinking about it. So, and this is another thing that's interesting about the anti-woke persona in gaming, is I've been seeing a lot of people cover this, but they've been leaving out some key details that I think are very important. And they don't why these are people who voted for Trump, okay? And to each their own, vote for who you want, whatever. It's America. But you voted for Trump, and now clearly it's not like you can't hide it. Like there's clearly a lot of financial, corporate, political connections here, and none of those people are saying really anything about it. Like they're just very casually in passing, For example, like Smash JT, when he goes live, he has this "Get on Your Knees for Trump" intro to his live stream, where it's literally a Gluck 5000 for Trump intro. And it's like, bro, really? Weren't you the one who said that Disneyland is, run by pedos or something to that, of that nature? And then you talked so much about Disneyland, and then you took your whole family there, and you're like, well, it's just for the If you really believed that Disneyland was run by predos and that it was a place that was designed to be predatory towards children, why would you even go there? Why would you take your family there if that's what you really believed? I mean, Bueller still has a channel. That boy is ripe. But yeah, Paul, I'm highly concerned you're still buying OneUp. Shut up, Paul. You take it and you like it. I got a really, really good deal on that one, though. I could not pass it up. Okay, anyway. Yeah, so Smash AT, I think personally, my opinion is, my observation of the situation is he's a grifter for sure. Yeah. I mean, this is somebody who's best friends with Tommy Tellerico, and, I don't know, it's just Gluckfest everywhere. But yeah, so his live intro is Gluckfest 5000 on Trump, and then he's talking about Visa and MasterCard, and it's like, bro, you don't see the connections here? What's going on? Huh? What is this? And I don't that's the song and dance of the grifting, is to not call out the bullshit that people don't want to hear because they don't like it, because it goes against something that they think they were doing was right. And it's becoming a problem in gaming more and more with podcasters and people who are talking about this stuff, and they're spreading misinformation that way. Now look, on the other side of things, I'm not saying that there isn't problems, or there hasn't been problems with people who claim to be trans and are content creators. But the irony and the funny thing about most of these people who claim to be trans is that they're just like like no hormones, just a dude dressed up in some gross outfit, just being gross, and then being like, "Why'd you misgender me?" Like, because you're a dude, that's why. Like, stop playing the victim, and then both sides start doing it and they start playing the victim. It just gets frickin' ridiculous. But you guys let me know in the chat what you think about this sentiment in the gaming space, in the retro gaming space. It doesn't matter where you go, there's a little bit of that sentiment everywhere. I wish people on, this is from Sailor Mercury, I wish people on either side stood for free speech and freedom of expression, even when it's something they disagree with. I feel the same way, and it seems very easy to be a person who can tolerate things. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's like part of just maturing. But hey, the GameStop ma'am, oh my god, dude, that was if I felt sorry for anybody in that video, I felt sorry for that poor little cashier dude who was standing there like, I'm gonna die today. Like, that's just was the look on his face. It was like, I'm gonna die today. And meanwhile, you've got a freaking, Green Bay linebacker screaming at this little guy, like, it's ma'am. And I never at any point ever was sympathetic towards that. And I'm just like, no, dude, like that is mental instability right there. Like, that's concerning. That really should not, be great and looked at as ma'am. Shouldn't be looked at as ma'am. Dude, there were so many good memes though. Oh, the ma'am memes. Oh my god. So many good ones. I loved it. Oh my god. Whew, can you imagine like the guys that person actually convinced, to like date them? Like, god, that would have been scary. In bed, I mean, in bed it would have been very scary. Not in the fun way either. It's the facial hair that throws everyone off. Yeah, the whole beard thing, like, now look, like, queerness and gayness has been around forever. I mean, in the 90s, anybody who was like a teenager in the 90s or grew up, through the 90s, 80s, like, dude, 90s was like peak queer time, and you saw like stuff all the time, but it wasn't like it's like it's a dude, it's a guy dressing up, as a woman or whatever. And transgender was really like transsexual, I think, back then, which was just the term that was used. I guess that's offensive. I really don't care. It doesn't offend me. Yeah. So my other favorite argument is there's only two genders. Which is literally the most uneducated, retarded thing I've heard, but we're not going to get into that today. So on the topic of Smash JT, before I go way off topic here, I was looking into Mr. Smash's lawsuit with Mercante, or rather I should say Mercante's lawsuit with Smash. And there was some interesting updates. But recently, guys, actually as of today, I believe, yeah, as of today, it looks like Jeff filed for basically an extension of time before they move forward with either, deciding whether to dismiss the case or to basically move forward. But he's trying to keep the discovery process from happening, and I couldn't imagine why. If you guys don't know what discovery process is, it's the part where the court goes and they look at all of your data, all of it. And Mercante wants this. She's like, yeah, let's do it. That's what happens. They get up in yo shit and look in there at all the stuff. And I noticed that that was what just happened today. Was that I believe he filed for an extension that holds it off just a little bit longer until the court's going to make the decision. Now, the funny part is that the judge who is actually in charge of this case, she's kind of a hard ass. Like, a black woman from New York. I've seen some of the other cases that she's worked on, and let's just put it this way, I think that if the case ends up being accepted, that Jeff is cooked. I don't care who his lawyer is, he's cooked. That's what I think. I'm not picking a side here, okay? And just to be clear, I'm not picking a side here. All right. What I am saying is, looking from the outside without picking a side, I think he's cooked. Okay. And I've got like a decent amount of attorneys in my family, so Chris Harris, what's up, dude? Long time no see. I'm not offended by either. I watched anime that involves gay culture. Yeah, totally, right? Let's see, 2 people going back and forth talking crap online. Yeah, that's true. But see, where it goes into like no man's land, the problem is that so many people basically started threatening Alyssa, and because of the climate, because of the audience, and because of the fact that Smash's channel grew exponentially over to like 100,000 subscribers from him doing those videos. Look, there's a lot of things that people don't consider when you're looking at these lawsuits. And defamation. There's a big difference between talking shit and defamation or slander. And when you can prove that somebody has been slandering you and it's affected your life, like your actual physical well-being and, you know, a million other things, it's like that's for real. You can get sued big time for that, especially if you have a brand and it affects that negatively. You can get sued for that. But the big thing is that defamation and slander, that is lying. It's like total lies or confabulation about somebody that's not true and that people believe is true, and then causes people to have like negative reactions, do bad things that could even potentially harm that person. And that is what I'm talking about, where the possibility of, you know, Smash getting cooked is going to come from there. It's going to come from somewhere inside of that melting pot, because there's a lot of it. There's a lot of it. And anybody who's looked at the information, the data that's there, you can't deny that it's there. But look, everybody's got their opinion on it. I personally, I just want to see what happens with this, because I think that it's going to impact the way that online interactions on YouTube and other platforms, even like the legalities of online interactions, if you will. I think it's going to impact that if it does go through. It's going to be interesting to see. So obviously Smash is from California, which ironically is a super liberal state. And then she's from New York, and the judge is in New York. The case is going to be happening in New York. And it's just, look, it's just not, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. But I could be totally wrong. It might get dismissed, and then he'll just keep on making videos and totally get away with it. I don't know. Something, I feel like that's not going to be the case, but I could be totally off. I could be. All right. Not gonna lie. So interesting update there. That's something that I think will be interesting to follow up on. And I mean, let me know what your guys' opinions are in the chat about, you know, the situation, just in general, like snippet. And what do you guys think about like all this bullshit, like shit talking drama in the gaming community all the time? Like, why? Is it jealousy? Like, seriously, jealousy is one of the most disgusting things in a gaming community that like just confuses me to no end. Yo, what's up, GSP? Really glad to see you streaming again, Jade. Thanks for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Like, my whole thing is like, dude, you could totally have your own opinions. You could hate Xbox, you could hate Sony, you could think this game sucks for reason X, Y, and Z. But then, like, if 100,000 people really like the game, like, who cares? Like, who cares? Why does it matter? I think that we should call out things that, you know, are violating, you know, people's space or whatever, or crossing a line, I guess. But it's like with video games, I mean, dude, video games have been around since, you know, the 70s. And it's like sex games, okay? Those have been around for just about the same amount of time. All these things that you know, people are complaining about now is like, you guys look like a bunch of Karens, dude, because that shit was here before and nobody cared about it. You know what people cared about? Violence in video games during Mortal Kombat. But the reality of violence in video games is that it's not doing anything to anyone. If anything, it's probably better to experience violence that way. I mean, you know, I'm just saying, like, all right. We got another super chat here. I'm sick of grifters, so kind of want Smash to lose. I would laugh really hard. I think he tweeted the other day. Oh my God, dude. It was some just really arrogant asshole tweet where he said something about from now on, transgenders should be referred to as or be the word transgender should be derogatory. That's what he said. He said the word transgender should be derogatory, and mentally unwell should be the word that's used for, you know, those people, in parentheses. I'm putting parentheses. And I was just like, bro, really? Like, really though? Like, you San Diego living California ass mudavada yada bada. Like, bro, you look like a big puss is what it is. So yeah, anyway, the grift, and you know, he's doing it just to gaslight people. I'm like, dude, that is just a low, dirty Vietnam punji pit blow. The gaming industry and the gaming community should be left alone. Yeah, anime, all that stuff. Chris was talking about anime. That's another thing, like, highly sexualized. All right, even as a kid, like, my parents just, you know, didn't let me watch all animes because some of them, like, my dad knew. And I'm the same way with my kids. Like, I don't just hand my kids a tablet and then just be like, yeah, you do whatever you want. Hell no, dude. No. And it's the same thing with what they watch. So, you know, the parents that give their kids phones when they're like 8 years old and give them like an iPhone 15 Pro Max, like, personally, I think that's really irresponsible unless you have like all the adult, you know, controls enabled and they monitor it like really closely and have, you know, screen time and all that. But most of the time, like, some of the stories my kids have told me coming home from school, I'm like, Bro, really? Like, you saw that at school on somebody's phone, of course. Of course. And you know, the ironic part, I think the girls are almost worse than the boys. How is that? How does that work? Um I love that Japan didn't care and made wild anime. Absolutely. Absolutely. Games are progressive cuz farmhand fuckers aren't making the games. It's blue-dyed hair dude who learned to code. The CD sex game arcade machines in the back area of the arcades. Yeah. Or in the corner of the curtain area in the video store. You guys know what I'm talking about. The curtain in the video store. You just peek in there and the first thing you see is velvet tangerines. GTA San Andreas sold a gagillion, copies when it came out. But the thing is, nobody's driving around on the side of the road like running over people, you know? Nobody's like running around with a bazooka and launching missiles at people, like rockets at people. It's like video games don't cause violence, people cause violence. And then, you know, you have parents who just don't supervise their kids. Period. Most of the time it's negligence, but there's a lot of times where it's just like, you know, single working mom or something, or dad, or whatever. So violence in video games is actually profitable. That sounds like him pandering to his far right audience. Reminds me of Melanie Mack. She used to be a feminist, then grifted on far right Christians. Ugh. He looks like a munchkin from Smash JT. Smash JT, he kind of looks like Pee Wee Herman. He's like, haha, hey guys, I got my underwear on my head. Haha. Look, it's a swing. He's like, look, it's a swing. I'm going to kick Alyssa Mercante in the face on my swing with my underwear swing. Haha. Yeah, I just, I don't know. It's concerning. Again, the behavior is concerning. People, yes. Paul Rubin. Oh man. Yeah, that's sad. You know what? But I'm glad, even though it wasn't as good, but it was good that he got to make that Pee Wee movie before he passed. I'm glad I was born before the internet. Oh God, seriously, me too. I think about that, and then I think about like, like I'm still, you know, like to exist, you have to have it. You have to be attached to. It's like a tether. Phones and stuff like that, they're like a fucking collar. That's what it's like. It's like having a collar on. Is it great to have like all this information? Yeah, but like, it's not just free-flowing information. Paul Rubin at the theater. Classic. I saw that in a comic book once, like as a kid, and it was like telling the story. And it was the weirdest set of illustrations. It was all black and white. This is totally a true story. And it was like somebody was telling the story of Paul Rubin in a comic book. And it was in little black and white cells. And like, part of the story was his money shot. Like it was embedded in his money shot. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. But you didn't see like anything inappropriate, if you know what I mean. I mean, I guess a money shot seems that way, but it was like gooey. It looked like glue splattered all over the cell. Oh, so weird. Whew. Yeah, so ASL. Now that brings us into our ASL topic, which is the interesting thing of YouTube dictating what the algorithm's going to be for people based on what it thinks their age is. What do you guys think about that? That is bizarro. But that's what I'm talking about. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about with Palantir and all these other companies and the type of research and R&D that they're doing. It gets crazy. So And I'm just telling you guys this right now, okay? If I ever die and somebody says it's by suicide, it's a complete lie. I would not do that, okay? So just throwing that out there. Yeah. But I think that there's, you know, if based on algorithm, like I think that there's some use. I also think that like they spy on people with the camera. Like infrared, I don't know, dude, but like I know it sounds conspiracy theorist, but it's really not that far-fetched to think that they're using the technology without using like the full scale of the camera to like identify and look at people. I think that that's like a real thing. It's just, you know, people will say, oh, it's a conspiracy theory. Well, nah, I don't think so. Personally, my personal opinion. NSA, yeah. So I mean, algorithmically, they're definitely gathering info, and that is one way that they can identify like what they think the age of somebody is. But the problem is that then you have to verify your age, and I don't, in my full capacity, see how that's a problem. And here's why. Okay, because if you have someone who is trying to play games that are for adults, for example, on like a Google streaming service or whatever, and it's connected to their YouTube account and all these other things, but it's clearly like a child, then that kind of puts the responsibility on YouTube to police the platform. And if you are an adult, it really shouldn't be a big deal to have to verify yourself. I mean, technically, to like be a content creator and be in the partner program, you have to like verify yourself with your ID. So, I don't see, like, to me, it's just a level of responsibility thing. And so from that perspective, I don't see a problem with it. I think the problem comes in with like privacy and stuff like that. But then again, if you want to use this stuff and you've got to ID yourself, like, you should be willing to do that, right? I mean, that would be like committing a crime and then, not wanting to ID yours. Well, it's not really, because it's not committing a crime, but I mean, you guys kind of get what I'm saying. Like, if you committed a crime and then they ID you, like, you're going to be accountable for it. It's the same thing, same principle here with like the accountability aspect of it, which is like, okay, prove to us that you are old enough to be watching this stuff. So yeah. Now, the other thing, the downside to it, I think, is just the aspect of essentially like censoring people, and then the other, privacy aspect of it, which is like, your data. But part of the big thing that people aren't wanting to take responsibility for in a digital age is the fact that we are going to be tied to and connected to digital information infrastructure, and there is nothing that people can do to stop this from happening. It's already done. We're already there. Right now, we're there. All of us, we're all tied to different digital infrastructures that, probably have, like, there's probably a way to really easily access all that information at once. I'm hands down, like, no question. But think about it. Your PSN account, your Xbox account, your Switch account, your YouTube account, your Gmail account, your Hotmail account, your MSN account. There's a million different things, your Tinder account, whatever. Okay. We're all connected to this digital infrastructure. So the idea that it is overstepping for companies to do things like this is like, well, then pull out. At this point, just pull out, because there's nothing that we're going to do to be able to stop stuff like this. And you can still live your life. You really can. Toxin, thank you for the super chat. Did I miss anything else? Let me scroll up real quick. All right, chat. I apologize. I'm trying to stay on topic here. It doesn't look like I did. Okay. When I went to South Carolina, I couldn't use Cornhub without creating an account to verify my age. Yeah? Yeah. But again, the problem is the digital infrastructure system. And let some 60-year-old restrict our lives. But it's realistically not. And this is my opinion. It's realistically not. Like, think about how vast the digital infrastructure system across the globe is. Let's be realistic and let's think about all of the EULAs that we've all already signed off on, and that we sign off on just simply by using our phone, which technically violates our privacy, our privacy. If you choose to accept those EULAs and to use your phones and to do X, Y, and Z, you are choosing to assume the risk of your data being out there, whether it's, the government or whether it's a hacker, like whoever. And yeah, it's a thing. So I don't understand, like, for me, the backstepping part of it, which is like people trying to be like, no, it's an invasion of our privacy. Well, I mean, it's good. I don't know when the last time we really had real privacy was. So I don't know. You can't watch because I'm Christian. That's different. That's not what I'm talking about. That's different. But age, the whole age thing and verification stuff like that, it really is kind of like, well, don't use the services. You know what I mean? I mean, you think about Cornhub and all those sites, and they're all free, so people go on there and just la-di-da. And I don't know if any of you know, like, the scandal that happened, but privacy is an illusion, Paul Barris says, and I agree with that. It is an illusion. Now, there's a big difference between, like, some person just exploiting your privacy. And when I say privacy, I mean your data, and just putting it out there for other people to see without your permission, consent, or anything like that, like, a hacker or cyber terrorist, whatever. That's like a totally different thing. That's not okay, and that's obviously against the law. But your data being in a system, a database, is like part of the everyday EULA thing of, I have a phone that I'm going to use today. I'm going to take it with me. So, yeah, by the way, robocalls. Pokemon Crystal says robocalls. Did you know that every time you get a robocall, you can actually ask to speak with, if it's a person, you can ask to speak with the supervisor, and then they have to let you, or you can call them back, or you can call, there's another number you can call to file a report against them. But essentially it's illegal. They have to, like, pay you $500, $250 or $500. And they will have to pay out that money to you for violating your privacy. Isn't that crazy? Net runners, yeah. That's a good way to put it. Thank God I'm engaged and don't have to rely on Cornhub anymore. All right. Okay, so where are we, guys? We're at 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. Four more to reach our goal for the channel giveaways. Okay. How much time do we have left? Can anybody in the chat tell me how much time we have left? Because I don't know. That's why a lot of call centers are out of jurisdiction. Most married people still watch it. Pornhub, of course, Pornhub. Enjoy your 12 years. And then divorce comes. Meta, stop it. Okay. Okay, guys. So 4 more to get to our goal. If we want to get the giveaway for 2 items, the Ambernick and the, what was the other one? Tomb Raider trilogy on Evercade. All right. But we still have time because I'm still going here. Okay. I'm still unloading. All right. I'm going to sidetrack for a second here though. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what Paul was saying, which is this like a Biggie D giveaway? I heard it didn't go well. Uh-oh. I don't know anything about that, but yikes. And I'm going to talk about Arcade OneUp, Paul. So I found this, first of all, Arcade OneUp during the John D era, there was only a couple of, well, actually there was more than a couple. There was some collabs that, thank you very much, my dear, $4.99 super chat from Pokemon Crystal. Much appreciated. Brings us up to 7. 3 more to get to our goal. But during the John D era, by the way, John Diamonin, now he's actually a licensor, and well, no, he's basically has the credentials to obtain licenses or and secure licenses for video games for, you know, companies to use or to put in arcade machines or whatever. But he's kind of the guy who, by the way, he never gets enough credit for this, brought Marvel vs. Capcom 2 back on the scene. Like, that was him. And I always think it's so weird that he never got more credit for being like the first, like the person to get it to like be re-released really in a mini arcade form factor. That's kind of legendary. I mean, the game had its problems, but like he still did it. He got it released. I mean, that's kind of a big deal. Kind of a big deal. But okay, anyway, without getting too sidetracked by that, he also has worked with Sega, Sony, Capcom, and a ton of other companies throughout his time in the gaming industry. He knows what's up. He is a very intelligent when it comes to licensing and being able to pull strings to get things to happen with licenses, okay? Anyway, he was like the head of Arcade OneUp with Scott Bacharach, who he was like right below Scott Bacharach, and who actually brought him over to the company. And he did these collab cabinets, okay? So like Street Fighter was the Clot collab. And then you had Kith, which was Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but it had like the legendary X-Men side art on it. And then there was other ones like 7-Eleven. They did like, honestly, like a bunch of really cool ones. And I wish I would have gotten all the collab ones now, because back then I was just thinking like originality, and now I'm like, they're Arcade OneUps. Like they're, you know, it's not, it's a reimagination of what once was in a great way. That's, you know, it's a good thing. I love them. They're fun. Anyway, I found a brand new inbox Clot crossover with Arcade OneUp and Street Fighter for $200, and I couldn't pass it up. I just couldn't pass it up. And I was like, I have to have this as an accent piece. It's super cool. Looks really pretty. Love it. And then I took my Street Fighter Legacy PCBA from Arcade OneUp, which has every single Street Fighter game from 1 all the way to Turbo, Super Turbo. And it also has Ghosts and Goblins and Commando and a couple other really good titles. And I threw that in there, and oh my god, I'm in love with it. And the clot one also came with a matching stool. So yeah, that's the thing that I did. Paul, don't you dare judge me. Don't you judge me. And then yeah, so Kith would be the other one that I would really want. I hope maybe one day, but you know, I'm not holding my breath. This was just a lucky find. So very cool though. Totally stoked about that. I actually have yeah, my collection is much smaller now than it was. So but yeah, I haven't bought, let's see. I think the last one that I bought was the Pac-Man, and I don't know, I just felt like I had to have the Pac-Man in my collection cuz it's just kind of like iconic, and you know, it's got that look, that aesthetic. I like it. I like it. And I play it too. It's got a good lineup of games on it. So, yeah. Chinatown Market 1 was really dope. Chinatown Market? I don't remember that one. But it sounds cool. And it sounds believable because there was like some obscure ones that almost didn't even get talked about. I feel like there was one other Supreme, Mortal Kombat. And you know what? John apparently claims that Supreme is his favorite one from a licensing perspective. And I'm like, how ironic is it? Because he also claims that he hates Mortal Kombat. How ironic is it that your favorite arcade OneUp collab is the Supreme MK cabinet and you hate Mortal Kombat? Like, he's a Street Fighter fan. I'm like, bro, sell me one of them Supremes. And he's like, oh, it's going to be like 1,200. I'm like, get out of here, dude. No. Anyway, so those were the 3 fighting ones, though. And they're pretty epic, you know. A lot of people didn't like the clot, but it's really even more flattering in person. It's just the red really pops, like, big time. And then the stool is dope. It's got that clot turbo. Very like pixel art. It's pretty cool. So yeah, anyway, during his era, they did a lot of really cool, obscure collabs, but it was like all related to arcades, like arcades of that time. Okay, so Chinatown, this spot where you'd totally find, you know, like arcades just tucked in everywhere, candy cabs, stuff like that. And then the 7-Eleven one, for example, totally back in the day, they used to have like, you know, a single arcade machine in 7-Eleven. You'd go in there and pop some quarters in that baby after school, drinking a Slurpee, huh? Yeah, Circle K. So I'm just saying, I mean, you gotta be educated, huh? You never bought any of the sports cabs, did you? No, I did not. I did not, because Blitz was so woke. I didn't want to like get too woke, you know? I was like, whoa, it's woke, guys. It's Blitz. Oh my God. No. What was it? What did they take out of it? I don't know. But, you know, tackles or something. They ruined Blitz, though. I don't know, man. But you know what? The Blitz cabinet looked nice for a 4-player. I'll give it that. And the 4-player NBA Jam Deluxe that they did, I thought that was nice. And now they have that little putsy little poo-poo thing that looks like doo-doo. I don't know what it looks like. The wall's about to eat it. Thank you very much for the super chat, Mr. Toxin. It says, sucks how we're never going to get an awesome arcade OneUp collab again. At least it's very unlikely, or they'd be kind of mediocre. Yeah, like the X-Men 97 one actually was kind of cool. But yeah, I think I would say that was like the last one. I know John's gonna like hate me for that, but I thought it was kind of cool. And that's like the only one really. Oh, you know what? Okay. Hello Kitty Claw Machine. That's a dope collab. I mean, if you don't understand the importance of the Hello Kitty IP, like, I don't know who you are. All right, but anybody who grew up, you know, in the 80s and 90s knows Hello Kitty. Come on, dude, that's a big IP. I wish I could have got that claw machine just for the fact that it was Hello Kitty. Okay. I mean, the Hello Kitty Dreamcast, you know how much those things sell for? A Hello Kitty Dreamcast, you guys. That's right. 2 different models that they did. They collabed with Sega on. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. But, yeah, so those 2, you know, the rest, I don't know, man. Hey. But the fighting cabs is what we were getting with John. You were getting those fighting cab collabs. Kind of rhymes. Fighting cab collabs. Pew pew. I cannot believe that it's 7:45 right now. I think, okay, guys, is there like a timer on the goal post there? Because I feel like there's a timer maybe. Oh, there it is. I mean, not the timer, but I'm just looking, trying to see how much time we have left. I think I gave it 2 hours, so I think we have about 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Okay, stop it. Now I know you're full of it. Wait. I think a golden age of home arcade was those 2 years of COVID. Yeah, absolutely it was. That 100% was. It's also where all of the drama began. It was the alpha and the omega of home arcade, the beginning and the end all in one, because that's where all the drama began and like all the little disgustingness like seeped in. And as soon as COVID was over, it was like, you know, people started getting all crazy because, you know, they weren't as lonely. They were getting out and then they were getting overworked again. And it got bad real fast. Oh man, we lost Sega Arcade Division. Oh, the travesty. 26 minutes and counting down. Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much. 26 more minutes. Thank you, Messiah. Mike of all trades. Yeah, they actually need to drop that Hello Kitty line so my daughter stops asking for it, right? Oh my God, my daughters would have loved it. And I mean, I would have totally used them as an excuse for why I got it too. Did I just say that out loud? I meant to say that in my head. I'm just kidding. No, I would have gladly shilled for that thing. No, I'd wait. No, not shilled, like as in like I would actually like want them to send it. I just mean I would have like shilled it, you know, like, oh my God, it's Hello Kitty. Like, look, oh, it matches my Dreamcast controller because I have a pink Hello Kitty Dreamcast controller. So yeah, that definitely would have been the cake. I would say like in my downstairs game room. And by the way, Paul, in case you haven't seen it, I do have a Primal Rage in my garage, conversion kit Primal Rage, and Blastroids, an original Blastroids, and I have the Killer Instinct out there. So I've got some cool stuff out there, and I got the Donkey Kong. Look at behind me, Donkey Kong. Bonanza's really good, by the way, if you guys haven't played it. My daughter loves, yeah, Samsus. Oh God, the Roblox debacle. I feel like I should talk about that next week when it's out of style and just talk about how weird and gross it is at the same time. Bonanza is awesome, yeah. So, you know, I would say like to kind of tie off like the last thing that we're talking about, which is the AI discrepancies. I think like one of the biggest problems is just the privacy aspect of it, the biometric data storage, and you know, obviously people are gonna have to deal with false positives and algorithm bias. But it's like, man, That's like the world we live in now. I mean, who's gonna go tell an AI engineer or developer like, hey, you got to change that algorithm? Like, who's gonna listen? People don't even people hardly listen anymore. I don't want to say they don't, but they hardly listen anymore. And a lot of these corporations are super arrogant when it comes to that kind of stuff, and they're just like, F you, we're gonna do what we want. But geez, man, yeah, it's gonna be interesting navigating something like this for the rest of your life, basically. For the rest of your life, that's what it is. We're gonna be navigating this for the rest of our lives, and then we're gonna have to watch our kids navigate it. And it's concerning. It is concerning, but at the same time, it's like the tree falls in the forest. Do you really hear it? I don't know. Food for thought, guys. Chat. Food for thought. So, okay. That pretty much covers all of our topics. I am open for you, chat, to throw questions my way or to throw, proposals, propositions about what we talked about tonight. Give me your feedback. Give me your ideas. Ask me stupid questions. And I'm here to hang out and listen. I think we're gonna go until about 8:15. So, well, we still got those 2 spots. And we will be doing a giveaway. Oh, Toxin, top contributor. Are you looking forward to any games coming on Switch 2? Yes, I am actually. And thank you for the super chat. Very much, and for contributing. We're at 9 out of 10. I am looking forward to the new Pokemon Legends because, contrary to what everybody else said about the first one, I actually liked it. I liked it because it was different, and I'm much of the mind of like Hideo Kojima, when he talks about how he doesn't want people to like a game too much at first. And I think challenging is another aspect of that. Anyway, Legends, I'm looking forward to that. Metroid Prime 4 is another big one. And me and Messiah actually just got No Man's Sky because if you have a Switch 2, you get a free upgrade on it. So I went to GameStop and got a physical copy for like $37. And yeah, the Switch 2 upgrade's pretty sick. I gotta say, the Switch 2 is a pretty dope little thing. Pretty dope. I'm glad my brother bought it for me because I still wouldn't have one. Not a big deal. Like, I wouldn't know what I was missing out on, but it's pretty cool. I really like it. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Does the Nova Blast screen tear on vertical JAMA shmups? I have not tried any shmups yet, to be honest. So I would be lying if I said it did or didn't. That's a very interesting question, though. I don't think I've noticed screen tearing, though, on any of the fighting games. I mean, there's a lot of scrolling on those. But I haven't noticed anything there. And the final super chat here to meet our goal from Mr. Messiah, No Man's Sky and Borderlands 4. Yeah, I don't know about Borderlands 4, but No Man's Sky was definitely a cool upgrade. Let me see here, guys. Let me see. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. We have met our goal, which means next week at the beginning of our live stream, of the live stream, I'm going to be giving away. All right. I shouldn't do it at the beginning, though. I should wait until the end, huh? Because then if I did it at the beginning, then everybody would just leave. So maybe I'll do one halfway through the show and then at the very end. That's what we're going to do. So we will be giving away an Ambernick handheld and a copy of Tomb Raider Trilogy for Evercade. So, thank you to you, the viewers, the contributors. Yeah. And then we'll also do the same goalpost thing next week for a follow-on giveaway. So I have enough stuff to do like giveaways for the next, at least like the next 3 live streams, and then I might save some stuff and then we'll do some more maybe like during the holidays. But yeah, thank you guys so much, and shut up. Thank you so much for helping me reach my goal. All right, and I'm sorry, but I can't show you my boobies. Plus, people would get really weird about it, and YouTube especially. So yeah, legends. Toxin. What about you? What about you, Toxin? Tell me. Wait till the end. And a little something extra. Oh, cool. Love handhelds. Now, unfortunately, I'm gonna pre what's the word I'm looking for? Well, I'm just gonna preface this by saying I'm not putting any games on that thing because I am not getting into any of that territory. Okay, so you're getting one from the giveaway. It's not coming with any games on it. Okay, none. All right, just making sure. No poops on some. Yeah, because I don't know if you guys saw all that craziness that happened. But basically, some guy got raided because he gets Ambernick handhelds. Like, who's the jerk that did that to him? You know, some little conniving raton was like sitting watching his live or watching one of his videos and was like, ugh, I'm just sick of seeing this guy playing with these hands. He's so happy. God, I hate it. Ugh. That's it. I'm calling French SWAT. Complete retail libraries on there. Imagine getting jailed for clicking on video games online. Ooh. Yeah, no. I'm not about that life, really, by any means. Ooh, man. He's so happy. The anger comes out. The anger flame. Okay. All right. We met the goal. Let's see. We're going to go till 8:15. And I'm going to do, officially, we're going to integrate an AMA into this. So AMA, and then, you know, whatever else. And again, like, if you guys want to retouch on anything that we talked about during the live stream, please do. Because that just makes it fun. I love discussion. I love talking about these things. Straight haters. Yeah, straight haters. Bro, jealousy is like the #1 killer of charisma in retro gaming. Like, dear God, man. Like, just calm down. Like, it's not like, what are you jealous? Like, okay. You know what? All this stuff, like, it really just, as an adult, it's cool and fun. I have more fun though, like when I'm like playing with people or whatever, which, you know, I don't always get to do that often because I'm a parent. Like, my children are usually my priority. And when I say usually, I mean that in the sense of like when they're with me. So too much free time on their hands. That is true. Some could say the same about me. Can we do 5 more streams about it? I got some screenshots of the Iconic leak. Oh yeah, I heard about that. I heard there was a UI leak. Oh my God, how exciting is that? Iconic Arcade, the other company that's working with John D to obtain the Street Fighter licenses and whatnot, and they're gonna release the cool looking arcades, the XL size or XXL, whatever it is. Apparently leaked their UI, and it's super UI. I mean, who was the first one to get that breadcrumb? Man, they must have had so many super chats. Are you still doing school? No, I finished school. I actually have, I got my degree in because I had to change my program slightly. So I got my degree in you're not going to believe me after I did that, but I got my degree in education studies with an emphasis on journalism. Thank you for asking, Paul. Let me see if I meet I cannot talk right now, you guys. Like you know what would make me better is wine. Like I think next stream I'm gonna have like a glass of wine and just sip on it, because that actually does help me sometimes speaking. Who does that? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to catch up and see if there's any other questions. I don't believe you. Never not believe me. Receipts. What was that in reference to? I don't know. I didn't see it. But yeah, what's the scoop with drama over there? Aside from the tidbit, I guess. Who was talking about like a Biggie D giveaway that went wrong? Like, how did that happen? Fill me in on some home arcade drama. Is Rexer still making videos for Arcade OneUp? I mean, about Arcade OneUp? Like, what's going on there? #1 home arcade channel, huh? Cool. Right on, bro. Have a beer. Let's have a beer and touch tips. What? Okay, but seriously, come on, someone fill me in. Rexer is still an NDA shill for Arcade OneUp and will never be over it. Yo, the twist of that plot was like insanely epic, though. Rexer said Biggie D had an issue. I didn't see it. Oh, okay. Yeah, the twist to that plot was like epic. The whole I have an NDA with OneUp, like what? Alrighty. Yeah. Nothing to see here, folks. Just move along. Let me show you a cut off 2-second clip of somebody saying one word and then claim that it means an entire narrative of something. I just work here, LOL. But yeah, I mean, I feel like there's got to be like a lot of baiting going on over there right now, because there's like really nothing going on. And Arcade OneUp is now smart and they stay away from the community, which is honestly, let's be realistic here, folks. That was a really good decision on their part. Stay away from the community. Don't interact with them. They're usually a very violent, volatile group of people who will try and hurt you, basically, is my take on it. Time Gal. Dragon's Lair. Yeah, no. Space Ace would have been cool, though. Sold out his community for a Blitz cabinet. Man, I feel like the home arcade community is just treading water because there isn't much news. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, they've got to be like baiting people in with topics that just have nothing to do with anything, or it's just about like, I'm gonna buy this cab that has already existed for 2 years on Walmart. Super chat. Like, a very strange phenomena over there. Very strange. Like I said before, much like kind of the Miko thing. Very culty, yes. I have seen that. I've definitely seen the cultiness. Whew, man, let me tell you, the followers, like the viewers over there, are like disciples. You always know who the hardcore ones are. And it really is entertaining to go over there just to see what the viewers are saying and like the comments that you're seeing, because man, man, you talk about like make arcades great again. Like, whoo, it gets wild over there. It gets wild. Like the Wild West up in there in those comments with that leadership. you know. It's just most of the things over there from China. So nobody wants to admit that, though. Insert YouTuber. Oh my god, let me get mad. I don't see UI for a game that existed since 1996. Or what cab would we like to see come out? Yeah, like Arcade One Up is listening to that too. They're like, oh my god, there's this 50-person YouTube community that wants us to release this arcade cab, and I think it really has potential. I think that our marketing value, we should really just direct it over there and release this cab that these 50 people want, and probably 5 could afford. Yikes. It's I don't think that people understand. I feel like it's just kind of like a delusional crowd. Like, they don't understand that Arcade One Up is not gonna release a requested cab or what they want. Like, even if they are clocking or watching, I guarantee you it's purely for entertainment value. Like, whoever's like Cyrus or whatever, he's in like his mansion, like watching, and he's just like, oh, I'm a Rosenberg. This is stupid. And he's like, throwing like gold popcorn at the TV screen because he probably eats gold popcorn. But like, it's just, it has to be for pure entertainment value, because why else would they watch? Why else would they care about what this little niche group of 50, or they're like, half of these dudes are going to have a heart attack before they even release the cab anyway. So was it Disney or was it Harry Potter at Universal? Oh. We just need to put in better quality sticks and buttons. That'll fix all our issues. Yeah. Hey, by the way, on my clock cab, you guys would be proud of me. I actually soldered in a Sanwa. So, because I didn't want to like mess with the connectors, I wanted to use like as much stock as I could. But I soldered in a Sanwa. It took me like 10 minutes. And it worked. It worked really good. Yeah. Because, the hex gates, they don't really solve the problem of very bad joystick. So I don't like Disney, or was it the Harry Potter? Wait, what is that in reference to? Toxin? I don't know. I don't know. I can't see. Well, is there, what is one of those things on, is like one of those shows on tonight, Thursday night? I feel like there's like usually a show on Thursday night. Sanwa joysticks, yeah. I'm all about them ILs and them Sanwas. And then for buttons, it's either Gold Leaf or Gold Leaf, Industrious Lorenza, and what's the other one? Crown Some Duxa. Yeah. I mean, Sanwa's great and everything, but Crown Some Duxa, I kind of like their buttons better. Oop, boop. Let me see. I love Sanwa. Genie. Oh. The, what was it? The Polycade incident? The Polycade has the worst joysticks he's ever felt. Yes, that totally passes the experience vibe check. Look, I'm not gonna lie. When I started off, like I made like some mistakes because I didn't know, like I knew like very basic things about arcades themselves, like about the machines. I could tell you anything about the machine, like what it looked like, what I remember of it. But the thing is like there are certain parts that you really learn over time are like the best options and the best choices, and little things that you learn, like Industrious Lorenza was really part of HAP at one time. Like it's kind of branched off basically, and that they were the better half of HAP. But yeah, so you can learn along the way, but like if you come into a community and you really don't know anything about the history or the era or have like the slightest inkling, it's just like, bro, stop the grift, man. And I'm not calling him a grifter. I'm just saying, like, I've seen that a couple times. And then it just becomes about the next cab, and they're just like, what's the next cab? What's gonna happen with the next? Every thumbnail and every title is like the same thing. It's like, what will I do if I buy this cab? Like, shove it up your ass? Who cares? Or it's like, what happens when you turn on the arcade OneUp centipede? Like, probably play it? Like, what the fuck? What, is this a joke? How much money did I spend on this cab? God only knows. Hopefully not too much. I get all my arcade knowledge from... That's it, Paul. Leave. Get out now. I'm just kidding. But yeah, like the titles, dude. I every time I see one, I start laughing because I'm just like, it's another question. It's another question. How good is this game? I don't know. Why don't you tell us? Kidding, not kidding. Let me see. What did I miss? Blue. Yeah. Oh, man. That guy. Something else, these people. Something else. Let me tell you. I just think like that's really silly anyways, and I feel like they all do the same thing, like, and then like their facial expressions, it's like usually always the same one. They're like it looks like a big giant wiener schnitzel's about to go into their mouth, and they're like, there's like drool coming out. And then it's like, they're like this, and then it's like the title below it is like, why did I buy this? What's the point of buying this cab? Did I just do this? Who cares? Oh my God. You forget the green screen point. Yeah, I went on, wait, Five Guys. Zoomed up. Oh man, it's so silly. Silly arcaders. So yeah, I guess I should wrap up. Dear God, what is it? Wait, what? Oh, it's 8:10. Okay. All right, good. I was like, oh, did I go like way past my time? But yeah, no. I really want to thank you guys for hanging out. I'm a little rusty, like with the lives, I'm trying to knock off some of the rust. So it's coming along. But I appreciate the super chats to help us reach our goal, and we will be doing a giveaway next live stream. I can promise you that. And I'll put up some pictures to show you guys and make sure that we can get everybody entered into the giveaway. I actually might use StreamYard just so that people can do it live, because then I don't have to like do a wheel and it automatically enters them, which I feel like is, then people can't say that's like a scam or anything. So I might have to use StreamYard for that. But either way, we're gonna do a our next live, we're gonna do a giveaway. So Ambernick handheld, and what was the other one? So the Ambernick handheld that I'm giving away is like the translucent purple Game Boy style, but it's the one with like the little Joy-Cons on it. And I think it's like I want to say it's a couple generations, but it's like, it's brand new, comes in the box and everything. And then the copy of Tomb Raider Trilogy is sealed. For the Ambernick though, it also runs Android. So if you like using Daigisho as like a front end, it's really great for that. And it's a good one. I think it has like an RK chipset in it, so it's pretty decent, pretty powerful. Runs games like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and stuff like that. And I think whoever receives it will have fun with it. My dog is like telling me she's gotta go potty. Come here. Say hi to everybody. Come on. Say hi to everybody, you silly. Oh, she's being silly, like rolling on the floor. Thank you, Kevin. Good to see you again. We need different opinions, perspectives. Too many white men in this space. Yeah, you whiteys. So stay vigilant out there, guys. Stay woke. You see what I did there? And stay educated. Stay educated. Most importantly, educate yourself. Always check. Always double check. Always fact check. I feel like we should be at the point where, especially as adults, like we are really looking into things and not just taking it for face value. With the way that the digital enterprise, digitalness is set up these days. Yeah. So, with that, I will thank you again, and I'm going to bow out. And until next time, did I forget anything? I feel like I forgot something, but okay, I don't think I did. But until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you guys then.